Good Friday evening, everybody. I'm meteorologist Tim Pandajis here with your tropical update. Still talking about Hurricane Earl that brushed past Bermuda yesterday, just to the east of there, with some impacts with some tropical storm force winds and some heavy surf. Now it's racing into the North Atlantic. And we've also got Kay. Yesterday was a hurricane. Today it's a tropical storm, but it's impacting Southern California. We're one day out from the peak of the season. Today is September 9th. 2022. Climatologically speaking, September 10th is the peak of the season. The day that's most likely to have an active system in the Atlantic Basin is tomorrow. We've got Earl out there too, so here we are on that, climbing that peak, and then we're still very active. Looking at past seasons right up through the rest of the month and through much of October too, but this season so far has been rather quiet. We've had several named storms, but we're a little bit behind climatology. All right, here's the basin right now. Looks active at face value. So we've got Hurricane Earl, Category 2, racing to the North Atlantic, heading into the graveyard and eventually going to peter on out, not impacting anybody. And then three other tropical waves here. If you remember yesterday, we had Invest 95L, had high chances of developing, 70% chance. But we talked about how on visible satellite, there were some big signals that it was getting heavily sheared. And today, that's 95L, 10% chance of developing now. Slashed by 60%, likely will not develop. Two other waves here, another one with 10%, and another one that has yet to come off the coast of Africa that is sitting at 20% chance. So nothing in the short term that's a tropical wave now is of any concern, and if it was to develop, it likely won't reach land for over 2 weeks. So we've got a lot of lead time to watch it unless something develops, say, in the Caribbean or the Gulf of Mexico, which right now models aren't really hinting at. So here's a look at Earl, still hanging on a Category 2 status. This is not unusual because we just saw it happen with Danielle that held on to Category 2 and Category 1 hurricane status even farther north of here because the sea surface temperatures are very much abnormally warm, well to the north of where they should be this warm. The entire Atlantic Basin is running above average, but it's got winds of 105, but look at it, it's racing to the northeast at 26 miles per hour. Its track takes it farther to the north and eventually peters on out and slows down in the North Atlantic, so not a worry to anybody. I talked about the other waves, right, and how long it would take any of these if they were to develop to reach land. The closest to the U.S. is still 8 to 10 days out if it was to develop, but likely we're seeing recurvatures, a lot of the models here showing anything that does develop, so likely not of any concern. All right, let's jump over to the Eastern Pacific that we've been talking about. Kay now for the past several days. Yesterday at this time when we did this video, it was a Category 2 hurricane. Now it's barely holding on a tropical storm status. Why? It's now moved north of the warm waters to the south. So it's lost its fuel source and also some land interaction on the California Baja there as it's trying to lift its way to the northwest. But it's throwing tropical moisture into Southern California. That's welcome because of the drought conditions, but this much rain and fire scars in these areas is causing some flash flooding concerns. Those red polygons there are flash flood warnings. And this is radar coming out of San Diego, so you're seeing the plumes of tropical moisture coming up and over. Some areas could see some drought-busting rain totals of 2 to 3 inches before all is said and done. But it's moving away from land and eventually will become a remnant low before the weekend is out and no longer a concern. So that's the summary of what's going on in the basin. There's not a whole lot out there, nothing really impacting land aside from Kay with some rainfall that is welcomed. Until next time, you can find me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and also on TikTok. I hope you have a great weekend.